Hi, I'm Chris, and this happy little guy is Teddy, and together we are Our Time to RV. A few years ago, we downsized from a 3-slide, 35-foot fifth wheel to a 20-foot slide-in truck camper, and now have the flexibility to travel any place our 2016 Dodge Ram 3500 dually can take us. We love the outdoors and tend to gravitate to the state parks, national parks, Corps of Engineer locations, and boondocking sites, but do occasionally visit the private parts. We hope you enjoy the content. If so, please like and subscribe to our channel, then leave a comment telling us what you think. Thanks for watching.
I thought I'd come out first thing in the morning, get some sunrise videos. A little bit of the campground. This is a Kilo Box National Recreation Area. It is a campground, but it's primitive. I mean, there's really nothing here other than the sites. They do have a vault toilet, and I think they have one spigot with water. But that's it. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's a long, twisting, winding, up and down, 15% grades getting back in here. So, don't see any big rigs. Teddy and I are here at the Gila Box Riparian National Conservation Area. That's a mouthful, and thought we'd take a little video here to show you around a little bit. Campground's a primitive campground. There are sites. And there is a vault toilet and garbage. And there are a couple water spigots throughout. It's a really beautiful setting. It's on a river. And we're just out taking a walk. Because it is a national recreation area, I can't fly my drone here. So, that perspective we're gonna miss. So we're out walking after a cup of coffee before breakfast. Usually take a couple walks a day. A couple miles, 2.5 miles each. Weather's nice. Low to mid 70s, a lot of sun. For the daytime, nighttime, upper 30s, low 40s right now. It's mid-November. And we really like this place. It's out in the middle of nowhere. And it's very quiet, very quiet. This is the Riverview Campground within the rec area. This is a location where they used to have at least one campground host. But doesn't look like there's any evidence of one anymore. And I understand why. But the rangers do come through here during the day and they do their checks. So we've come to the crested hill on the trail overlooking the river. We'll get you some shots down there. We're gonna head down there and check it out. It's so green and lush down there, obviously, by the water. And so dry and barren up above. We just love it though. Love the sound of the water rushing over the rocks. There's not much out here. We absolutely love it. Love the quiet. So peaceful. There's 13 spots. I think there's 13 or 16. There's the campground there. And we're down in there. Teddy and I are going to head down to see if we can find a river from this entry point. This is a picnic area, a mile and a half away from where we're camping at. And I can hear the water down here, so we're going to go see if we can find it. You having fun, bud? I can hear it. Okay, we found it. Teddy found it. He's leaving. They're good, Teddy? Good boy. We're coming out to the Bonita Creek Watchable Wildlife Area. Teddy's checking it out already. It's nice that they have this out here. Unfortunately, I feel though it's underused, but it is a great place to visit. And we will definitely be back. This is our first time here, actually camping. I visited a day use area a couple of years back to check it out. The watchable wildlife must be in the form of birds more than anything. I'm not sure what you're going to see four-legged down there on the ground, unless it would be up on the hillside. So now we come full circle. We're back at the camper after about, 2.5 miles or so. I gotta check it. Again, we'll go out again this afternoon. Our spot here overlooks the river, although it's too overgrown really to actually see the river. But later on, when the wind dies down, you can definitely hear it, that's for sure. Again, we'll be back. It's a little breezier today, so I hope this audio comes out okay. Teddy and I are going to take a hike down to the river and see what we can see along the way. Come on, bud. Let's do this again. Good boy, Teddy. You know the way. We've been down here twice so far, after coming down the first time. Oop. Gotta stop for a bio break, right, Teddy? Okay. We've been down here twice so far. After the first time, I let Teddy lead the second time. Son of a gun, if this little guy didn't get me to the exact same spot on the river
that we were at the day before. The exact same spot. Okay, now we're getting closer to being able to access the river. This is gorgeous down here. It's not easily accessible, not too difficult, but I guess it keeps a lot of people away. Again, I love that sound. You can take the lead, bud. Came down here earlier, there's a bunch of ducks upstream. We kind of startled them. They took off and Teddy was ready to go. There you go, buddy. Jump right over it. Hey. Hey. Be careful. Be careful, bud. I don't want to swim downstream to get you.
Teddy and I ventured off into another area of the campground. It's the day use area. Again, we found the river. It was very relaxing sounds. It's early morning, sun's just starting to come up over the horizon. We decided to go out and take a walk, and this is what we found. Well, it's our last day here at the Gila Box National Recreation Area. We've been here for 5 days and really have enjoyed it. It's our first time here and it won't be our last. So Teddy's all packed up. We're getting ready to leave and hate to go. It's another bright sunny day, but it is a bit breezy. That having been said, there's still a lot left to our trip, and so Teddy and I are just arrived at Roper Lake State Park. We're going to be here for a couple days, just to relax a little bit. It is a nice little park, and there's a little bit of hiking around here. Not terribly long trails. The park's not the biggest, but it is a nice place, and we enjoy it for a couple days. We just stopped at the grocery store, and I think we're all ready to go. So after we stay here for a couple days, We're gonna go back out into the desert, boondocking, and hit a winery, and then a couple other places before we wind up going into a park for a month over the holidays to spend it with some friends that I made a couple years back when I was out here. So this is our site here. Got a nice little covering. We're up at about 3,800 feet, so it has a tendency to be a little cooler here than some of the other places we go to. In fact, a couple years ago we were here with the fifth wheel, and it actually snowed while we were here. So, but it is a nice little park, and we're looking forward to just relaxing for a couple days, doing some hiking. What do you say, Teddy? Teddy and I are starting our first morning here at Roper Lake State Park. A little walk around some of the short trails that they have here. This one goes up onto a mesa that overlooks the campground with Mount Graham in the background. Right, just as the sun's coming up. So Teddy and I are up on the mesa, overlooking the campground. And there's Roper Lake there. Again, it's not very big. Old campground's not very big, but it is nice. Just outside of Safford, Arizona. In fact, it has a Safford, Arizona address. Again, Mount Graham's there. You can actually go up the drive up there. There's actually a campground near the peak, but it's typically quite a bit colder there and quite often snow. We've made our way down to Roper Lake. Ted doesn't see the duck there, which is good. The lake is really nice and calm. The sun's just coming up, starting to illuminate the shoreline. Teddy and I are following this little peninsula that runs out into the middle of the lake. It's actually water on both sides. This is a nice little picnic area, day use area. Has this real beachy vibe to it. They do have a beach down there. There is sand on it. It's nice. For southeast Arizona or eastern Arizona. Teddy's enjoying himself running around. I know the dog's around here, so I got him off leash. I know there are people around, so got him off leash. A nice combination of water, palm trees, beach, and mountains in the background. We made our way over to the far side of the lake, and the only thing that's over here is just an access road. You can come over here and park and use the shoreline for fishing. The shoreline's overgrown here, but there are a couple places where you actually get down to the shoreline. There's one right there. So when it comes down to it, the two extremes of the way we travel, which are boondocking, primitive camping versus on-grid and with hookups. There's a handful of variables to consider whenever you're traveling and doing one versus the other. And for us, there's really one differentiating factor, although there are small contributing factors, but there's only one of the 5 or 6 variables, and I'll kind of go over them in no particular order. But at the top of the list is power, the availability of power, and power can come through a number of different sources, obviously, through shore power, but if you're boondocking, it can come in the form of solar power, come in the form of a generator, and so how much
energy you need, how much power you need, how much you consume, what you're doing with it. The time of year certainly influences things, particularly if you're using solar. That's a variable. But for us, our battery bank and our solar panels are sizable enough that we rarely come off 100%. So the difference there between on-grid versus off-grid, it's not that much of a difference for us. I have to do some energy management, but not that much. With supplies for water, food, and propane, we find very little difficulties being able to manage those components, those variables for us when we're off-grid for upwards of 2 weeks. We've gone 17 days consecutive without any problems. So it does require a little planning, but we've not had any issues with that. So that's kind of a wash as to whether or not we're on-grid or off-grid. Although if we're on-grid, chances are we're probably closer to a grocery store or someplace we can get propane. And of course, water's on site. So it's a little bit more convenient. But again, we can still manage that for the times that we go off-grid. Just again, it requires a little planning. Connectivity is certainly a big one. I can only do so much reading and so much non-connected computer work and so many fix-its and little mods and that kind of stuff. So we relax in the evening by watching a little bit of TV. And so connectivity is kind of important. So we have Starlink, and it's worked well for us. I have a legacy unlimited 4G hotspot as kind of a backup. In fact, we're here at boondocking now, and I'm using the 4G for this. Safety is a component, but to be honest with you, I haven't found any issues with safety being off-grid versus on-grid. Something could just as easily happen in an RV park that might happen outside of an RV park when you're boondocking. So when it comes to safety, certainly something to be cognizant of, but it comes down to it regardless of where you're at and what you're doing. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Avoid it. Find alternatives. Find a plan B. And that's kind of what Teddy and I do. The biggest differentiator between on-grid versus off-grid, hookups versus primitive camping, to me is the environment. I love being in the outdoors, open air, solitude. I embrace solitude. Yes, it gets lonely sometimes, but it's not that bad of a problem to have, to be honest with you. When you compare it to concrete jungles, and some of the RV parks are pretty packed. That having been said, it's very situational. I'm going to spend a month on-grid in an RV park with friends that I met in Tucson a number of years ago. So between Christmas and New Year's, I'll be spending it with them. So I look forward to that. But at the end of the day, that's a big differentiator for us, on-grid versus off-grid. And so we like both, but I very much like the solitude, the fresh air, the freedom, being able to walk and hike in any direction, just about. A lot more wildlife, but that having been said, I certainly like the RV parks, and the parks we typically go to are state parks or national parks or Corps of Engineers or those types of parks. So for everybody, it's different. It's very much situational, those components, and I'm sure that there are others variables that I didn't mention, but those are the key ones at the top of the list there. And so I hope you appreciate that perspective. Yours probably is different. Your needs might be different. How you travel might be different. But that's the way I see for Teddy and I, the way we travel. And I hope you appreciate our perspective. And if one way or the other, you agree or disagree, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Thank you very much.